Hello and welcome back to our fifth installation in this PHP tutorial series brought to you by Gamers Software. Again, sorry if I'm talking a bit fast, but I've got a lot to get through again. So today we're going over conditional statements, which are basically pieces of code which will only execute if a condition is true. So let's make a variable called score. Say we're going to compare a person's test score to see if they passed, failed, whatever, okay? We'll get don't_get score, okay? And we'll put the first word we need to know is if. So we'll check to see if the person has failed. Okay, so if score is less than 40 is the first thing we need to know. Now, this is the if, and what's in here is known as the condition. Okay, so echo you have failed. Okay, now if I refresh, it won't do anything because here we have a score of 96. But if I change it to 30, you have failed. Okay, so now next thing we need to know is the word else. So what that'll do is it'll say, right, so this condition isn't true, so what do we do now? We'll say echo you have passed. Okay, so it still says you've failed, but if I change the score to 50, you have passed. Now the third and final one we need to know is elseif, all one word, okay? And that's saying, okay, this condition isn't true, so now we want to check to see if this condition is true. If score is greater than 90, echo you did really well. Okay, so if I go 95, you did really well. Okay, now make sure that you put your conditions in the right order, because once it finds that a condition is true, okay, it'll stop there and skip and carry on to the next piece of code, ignoring the rest of the else's and elseifs. So let's say we put another elseif there, saying score is greater than 95, echo you must have cheated. Okay, that won't work. So even if we change the score to 96, it still says you did really well. And that's because it checked this condition first and found that this condition was true and said, right, we don't need to go any further, skip to here. And that's how the conditional statement works. Right, so after we next thing we need to know is about multiple conditions. So we'll make a new variable called name. We'll use the get name. Okay, so each condition goes inside its own set of parentheses. So if score is greater than 90, and then we use and, which is another way of saying and, but you have to use two ands, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay, so if name again double equals Tom, so this means it'll only say you did really well if the score was greater than 90 and the person's name was Tom. So if I go 93, it says you have passed, but if I say our name equals Tom, you did really well. Okay, couple more things to go over. First thing I want to go over is the alternative syntax. Okay, how that works is instead of putting it inside squiggle parentheses, you put a colon after each condition, like this. Okay, and then at the end of the whole statement you put end if followed by a semicolon. Refresh and it still does exactly the same thing. Okay, Now, let's say we wanted to put some HTML in there. Instead of echoing the HTML, what we can do is we can close the PHP tags and open them up again here. And we could do bold, say bold, and say you failed. Okay, so if I change my score to 30, it says in bold, you failed. And that's because it treats this HTML as if it was an echo statement. The only difference being that you don't have to escape characters like you would in a normal echo statement. And you can't just put in variables. You'd have to open the PHP again and echo, let's say $name, put a comma there, right? Okay, and if I put name equals Bob, it'll say you failed, Bob. And that's how conditionals work. And that sums up this tutorial. So thank you for watching. If you join us next time, we will be going over switch statements and the ternary operator. So thank you for watching. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, rate or comment or send us a message, and we shall see you